Hello, it's Dominique. Today is part 3 of our tutorial creating your own album or whatever to inspire you to show you how to get inspired with your papers and everything. We've talked already on that. I just want to show you where we're at now. I told you last video that I would go ahead and finish gluing those parts here on the spines and also the edges here and then this one here and the two spines. And that's what I do on both sides. You have to let it dry, and I would let it dry like, I don't know, a couple hours before I get back to it, before I fold it. So that's why I suggest that you do that. First of all, there's something I wanted to show you. So earlier I've shown you that I use my paper trimmer for cutting the pieces of chipboard. So I just want to show you what I do. Is I use a regular blades, but I use the ones that are starting to get dull. So all you do is, what I do is I mark it with a marker here, just to make sure that I don't use my good ones. And you just go like this, and then you fold it, and then I use my X-Acto, and I just go in the ditch here, and there you go. You have your piece, and that's easy enough. And then when you're done, you just go back to your good blade, and when it's starting to get dull, well, you just put it with your pack of dull ones, so that you don't mix them up. Okay. Also, I wanted to tell you that okay, you've seen that I've used my scoreboard to when I was doing the pieces here around, that I was scoring them with my paper trimmer. Of course, you can use a scoreboard, but when I just need the one piece and doesn't have to be exactly straight or square, I use this one. It's much faster. It has the same ditch here, so it's just good enough. So that's what I did. Okay, now we are folding our album. So the way I do it is I use my ruler, and I see pretty much where the ditch is between the pieces here. I just press on it. I go a little bit like this, and I press and press and press and press, and then first thing you know, it's bending. Okay, so you do that for both sides like this. I've already done this one, but this here, I'm done. So here, I go like this. I go slowly and make sure that the paper goes into the bottom of the ditch. You don't want all the paper to crumble here. So you do that, and then you do the same here. So there you have this folding right here. Here, as you can see, this will be covered with fabric, doesn't matter. But I could have left a little bit more than what I allowed here between the piece of chipboard, so that it would fold better. Of course, with all the stuff that will be in there, it'll stay down, but it's easier when you have more room between them. Like I left like a 32nd of an inch. I would leave just a little bit more, maybe 50% more. That's not much, but still makes the difference. So now we have our 3-piece. What I've done also, as you can see, maybe you can see, I've drawn an arrow on each part here, so that I know which side is the top and the bottom, because very many times I've done the like backwards or upside down, and it ruined everything. So I think this is a good thing to do, so that you get mixed up. And I would do the same on the top here, and on the back, just to make sure. Never too careful. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna do the fabric here. So I suggest that you do the fabric first, because whatever you have used fabric here, you will bring your paper all the way there, so that they kind of meet. And then of course we'll be putting a little trim to hide the kind of the meeting, the joint there. But it's better to start with this. So I've picked this one from Hobby Lobby. So I thought, because here I have, this is the paper. Remember I said that this is the one I would be using. So I decided that this would be the one. I wanted something a little bit more yellow, but I couldn't find anything, and I didn't want to go too red, so I went with this one, and I think it's just fine. So this is here the front. So we're gonna stick this here. So I'm using either tacky Fabri-Tac or 3-in-1. The other day I went to Joanne and I wanted a big bottle of Fabri-Tac, and they look alike when you don't look very much closely, and I thought it was Fabri-Tac. I said, oh no, it's 3-in-1. But I had been using it, it's just perfect. It even glued 2 pieces of fabric together. The other day I was making a chest and I needed a little trim around the edge, and I needed to glue the little pieces that were meeting together, and Fabri-Tac doesn't do that. It doesn't glue fabric on fabric, but this one does it. So I think I'm going to buy this one from now on. So what you want to do, you want to have a little bit, I would say maybe 3/4 of an inch on each side that will fold around. So I'm going to cut this one. If you have too much, it's okay. You're just going to trim it afterwards. So this is going to be the one. So here I remember, you remember that I have 1.5 inches here. So that's why I took the 2.5 inch, because I want to have pretty much 1/2 inch on each side, because it has to go around. You don't want it to be just on the edge here, unless it's finished, like you want to have something fancy like lace or something like that. You could still do it. You could see the paper here. It's something you could do, but I decided that I won't cover it, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So I'm gonna put the glue on here. Make sure you go on the sides and in the middle as well, because you don't want your fabric to be wobbly. It has to glue all over. And you make sure that you are on each side pretty much the same amount. Like we have pretty much the same amount here and here. Same thing here. So you just glue the outside for now. And I'm going to do, just let it dry. Don't fold it quite yet. You have to let it dry before you fold it. And then I'm going to do the same here. So I need like 3/4 of an inch on each side, more than the width of our album. I'm going to do this right now. This is a kind of glossy paper. It's a little harder to have things stick to it, but I'm sure it will stick for sure. And here I can see that it's kind of fraying. I'm surprised. I thought that the edges were finished. It looks like it's not. So for that reason, it's a good thing that I have like a little bit on each side that covers the spine, so that I can put a little trim here on this side right here. So I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to go on the other side and do the same thing. And if you wanted to put a chain, a charm chain or something, you would have to do that before you glue the top of this one. Like you would put it right here, which I'm not doing right now, because this is I don't want to do it in this one. Maybe some other project I will do one, but I'm not doing one right now. Whoop. Please, I suggest that after you've done that, you just put your lid back, because it'll spill and then you're losing the glue. So this is all good. This is all good. I'm going to let it dry. Now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to start working. This is the front cover. Remember, it goes like this and like this. I'm not folding it because I want the glue to dry. So this is our front cover. So I'm going to use this paper here. Where's my pencil? Always looking for my stuff. So here we have, so I decided I was taking this part here, So I'm gonna go, I want to be sure that I get a little piece of leaf here, and then I'm gonna measure up to where it goes. I would go like 1/8 of an inch from the side here, and then here the same for the length here. If you can get at least the same amount of border that all around, it makes it nicer. It's more what's the word? I'm gonna go all the way, and then cut here. If there's enough light, I hope there's enough light. And then here to the leaf, right here. And then I'm gonna check after that to see if it's right. I'd like a little bit more just in case I didn't allow enough. And then I could always remove some, or you can overlap a little bit here, because I'm gonna put a trim right here anyways, so I could always overlap a little bit. And also I'm gonna use Distress ink from Tim Holtz, the picked raspberry. It's a big, really pink. Every time you cut paper, you have to ink the cut, and then ink also the edge. But always ink the cut so it doesn't look like you've cut paper. It looks like as if it was meant to be there, made to be there. So you do that. So I'm watching my arrow here. So this is going to go here. So I'm going to do that here. Now. So I put quite a bit close here to make sure that when I squish it, the glue will go pretty much all the way to the side. But in the center, I don't go like a big thing like that, because sometimes the paper is more porous, and if you do that, you'll see the line that you've put the glue, and it's not looking very nice. So what I do is I just do little things, and if there's like a bigger piece of glue here, I make sure it's kind of spread. I spread it so that it doesn't show through it. So I will align everything like this, and that's perfect like this. Now I am making the back. So I decided that the back would be this paper, very pretty. So I'm gonna go from one side to the other. It's gonna be like this, and same width as the other one. Evening, it's a little dark. I hope that you can see this. If you can't, I cannot redo the whole video and just tear apart everything that I've done. So I just go like this. I like to not go all the way to the corner, because then you have a little strip that you've passed a little bit, like a little cut that you've passed, and then you end up having pieces that there are cuts. So I always finish it up with the scissors. So this is gonna be this. And put a little bit in the edge too. Even if it's green, it's nice to have pink around it. Why not? Go. So that's what it is. Here's going to be this here, right here. I'm a little short of like, let's say 1/64 of an inch, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to put a piece of ribbon. That's why I'm doing the back before, because I want to put the pieces of ribbon and everything in here before I do my pages inside. So that's why I have to finish all the fabric and trim and ribbon before I work on the inside. You don't need much glue in the center. Just makes just a little bit so that it adheres. But other than that, make sure you have some in the corners. Sometimes I see corners that are not glued properly. It's not very nice. Is there a... No, there's no way on this one, so we can go either way. And I go like this. This one here, make sure it's all nice and flat. And also, this is going to be part of the inside. It's going to go like this and like this. So this is part of the inside. So I decided that I could wait and do that later, because maybe I'll be making a file, I don't know. But what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and do it, and then I can glue something like the page, whatever I decide to do on top of it. Because I'm not going to do a belly band or anything like that, so I decided that I would go ahead and do it right away. I'm going to check to see if I'm at the right. See, I was a little bit too long. You want the 3 pieces here to be the same width. That's for sure. Oh, so I went right on the tip, in the corner. This is going to be here. Let's just stress that. So here we have a way, this goes like this, so we have to make sure we don't glue it that way. So that's pretty much all of it. Make sure it's all nice, there's no white showing. This way here, so I go like this. That's the way I do it. Like I go like this, I just turn, put my glue on, put very little. Make sure you have some to the edges and the corners, not too close. You don't want it to drip. And this here. This is a little shorter than this one. I'm going to leave it. There's not much difference, but I should have let a little bit more. Doing this, make sure it's all nice and glued on. Okay, now I can go with the ribbon. So now I decided that on this project I will be using this ribbon that I got from Hobby Lobby today, because here we have the bird that is red with spark. It has like a glitter, and also it's glossy accented, but I wanted to have the glitter again. So I'm gonna go like this. I'm gonna check because it's kind of sheer. I didn't know it was that sheer, and it might, if you have any ditch, might show. Not really. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go with, let's see if I got other stuff here that I could use. I have this one here. I think I'm going to use this one instead. This one I know I've used before. I know it's not sheer. Come on. Should have opened it before, but I didn't know I was going to use that one. Just had it in a bag just in case I need, like, you kind of put your stuff that you might use as you create so that you get inspired. See this one? It's pink, but it's okay. And same width as these stripes, so that's perfect. So I'm going to cut this one here. Again, I'm leaving like, I don't know if you can see, like 3/4 of an inch. I think I'm going to go ahead and do all 4. So I'm going to be doing that. and I'm going to be doing that later. I just want to show you I cut them all four. I'm going to do that later as a homework before the next video. The thing I want to do with you today is I want to make, as soon as I have made the outside like this, I want to put my ribbon that's going to tie. This one is going to go here, and this one's going to go, the other one's going to go here. So we need to do that now. So I'm going to use this green here. I would have used something wider, but I didn't have any in my stash, so I decided to use this one. So I would leave about, I would say, a foot. So you just get the center. So this is 5 3/4. So I'm going to go like this. This is the center. So I'm going to put my ribbon right there. And the other one, should have done before I got this, but it's never too late. This tool here I use quite often just to unglue something, like I need to have access underneath. See how well it goes? It doesn't tear. I used to use my my paper cutter, but then it would tear. So here I have just enough what I need to put my other piece of ribbon. So that's what I'm going to do. That's another nice use of the score tool, whatever you call it. Let it dry before you play with it. So another foot pretty much. And I'm going to put my glue right here on both sides because I'm going to glue it underneath. And then I'm going to use my paper cutter to slip it underneath. Okay, it's there, but what you have to do is check, make sure that it's aligned with this one here. They are good. I would go a little bit on this side. So just hold it here. And then I see that this is coming off, so I'm going to put more here. And don't forget that you have to put it flat so that it dries. It'll bend after. It'll bend. This is that there. Maybe I didn't put enough glue, that's why it's coming off. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to glue all 4 of these. And then after that, I am going to come back to you with another video. We're going to make the 2 pages that will go here. We're going to make the 2 little hinges, which is my stack and fold hinge system. Just little 2 strips here, just to know which what we have left space for the page, so that it fits inside here. So if we have, like, probably I'll put 3/8 of an inch here. So because we only have 2 pages that flip, so they will lay on each other pretty much. So I don't need to leave more than 3/8 of an inch as a little extra hinge, folding hinge. So if I remove 3/8 of an inch, then I have such space here. So I'm going to calculate that next time. So we need to do the 2 hinges and then the 2 pages, which we're going to use 8.5 by 11 cardstock, plain cardstock, and then we're going to make our pages later. So that's what we're doing today. So you can do that, and then meet me next time on the next video, which will be part 4. Okay, see you down later. Bye bye.